because if you hadn't noticed, Welsh. Yeah, no, I didn't like it. So good, so good. Apparently I just have a thing for wings now. I feel like a Barbie doll today with my pink top and my pink eyeshadow that I don't know. I'm feeling very Barbie-esque today and I'm just having a great time. Anyway, it's September today. Somehow, I don't know. This year's just kind of messed with my timeline and my body clock, I guess, and somehow it's September. So I'm just gonna go through all the books that I read in August, and I don't actually know how many I've read yet. I haven't counted them up, so we'll find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 books were read in the month of August, which I count as a success, and it was a good month overall. A couple of misses, but overall a good month. So let's go. The first thing that I read in August was actually, I started on July 31st, but I'm counting it as August because I finished the first book on August 1st, and that was the Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa. It's kind of a fantasy romance, and I've seen it, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I've seen it recommended on there, but I also know Peace Love Books recommended it in one of her, she does a lot of recommendation videos, and it was recommended in one of those, and I thought I'll pick it up because it sounded very ACOTAR-esque in terms of the love interest, which I was right. Okay, so first of all, there's 4 books that I read for this. There was Rhapsodic, I have to read them out because I can't remember. There was Rhapsodic, A Strange Hymn, The Emperor of Evening Stars, and Dark Harmony. And The Emperor of Evening Stars is a novella, but I read all 4 of them in like 4 consecutive days. I read them so fast, which like literally by August the 5th I had 4 books down, so it was a great start. But yeah, it was definitely right in it being very ACOTAR, but yeah, so the main character is, not the main character, the love interest is the Bargainer, and he's very much a Reese character. He had, like, even down to the wings, which apparently I just have a thing for wings now, and yeah, his humour and everything is very, very similar to Reese. And the main character is Carly, and she's a siren. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The first book was probably my favourite of all of them. I would just say, it was pretty much a retelling of A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, even down to some of the plot elements, it was very, very similar. So if you're not into that, maybe don't go for this, but if you don't mind literally reading the same story with a few little tweaks, a few fun little interesting bits added, I'd give it a go. It was fun, I really enjoyed it, and like I said, they were really quick reads too, so yeah, I don't know. The novella I enjoyed. The second book was my least favourite of all of them, but I really enjoyed the novella and the last book as well. I don't know, it was just fun, good fantasy romance, and I enjoyed it. I've been trying to kind of venture into graphic novels a little bit, which isn't something I ever envisioned myself doing, but I really enjoy Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. We know this, we've discussed this before, but I haven't really read any others. But this month I read Fence Volume 1, so that's the first 4 issues of Fence, and it was really good. So first of all, I'd only read the first 2 issues, not in the volume, just separately, and they were so short, like less than 10 minutes to read, and I was kind of disappointed because I was expecting, but not disappointed, but just kind of, I didn't expect it to be as short as it was. But then I read them in the whole volume 1 and that was a bit better because it was all four together. So it was just, took a bit more time and we got a little bit more out of it. Yeah, it's just really fun. Like I said, I've only read the first volume so far, so I don't really know too much, but I don't know, like the whole fencing side of things is interesting. It's a fun time, and I'm excited to read the rest. I think I have all the ones that are out so far, I think, on my iPad, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more of them. Next up, I read The Kiss Thief by LJ Shen. Again, Kindle Limited. I've read a lot of LJ Shen books now. I've read so many that I'm just trying to. I'm like, I might as well just complete the bibliography at this point. So I honestly, I knew absolutely nothing about this. I didn't even read the synopsis or the blurb on the back. I just thought, you know, I might as well just read it. And I've enjoyed a lot of LJ Shen's books in the past, obviously, because I've read most of them. And yeah, this one, probably one of my least favourites, if not my least favourite. There were just a couple of things that were a little bit icky. Didn't enjoy. Some of the discussions that happened were just kind of, ooh. So yeah, like I said, I didn't know anything about this going in, but it turned out to be an arranged marriage, mafia type romance, which this was my first ever arranged marriage trope in a book. I've read a couple of mafia romances, but it's definitely not something I reach for. So yeah, I don't know. Not really my favourite. The cover's pretty. I think I gave it like a 2.5 out of 5. So like, you know, it was fine. I just don't think I'd ever reread it or really recommend it to anyone. Yeah, not my favourite. Sorry, LJ. Speaking of disappointments, this month saw the release of the long-awaited Midnight Sun, and I was a little bit back and forth of whether or not I should buy this book. Then I got it as an ebook, and yeah, no, I didn't like it. Just as a point of reference, typically a book will take me between 2 to 4 days, depending on the length of the book, and this was a big book. About, I think it was over 600 pages, which is, for me, big, and usually that would take me 3 or 4 days. This took me almost 2 weeks to read. I was bored out of my mind, and the only reason I didn't DNF it was because I got to a certain point and I was like I might as well finish this, but I was not in a rush to finish it at all. I could read one chapter at a time, and then I had to put it down and read something else because it was driving me insane. It was just boring. It just did not need to be as long as it was, because Twilight isn't this long, and it's just Twilight from the other perspective. So why it was like twice the length, I don't know, because it was all just drabble, and I would not recommend it. Frankly, it's also kind of expensive. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't recommend it. I think I gave it 2 stars in the end. Didn't love it. Would not read again. And that's my thoughts on Midnight Sun. So a big part of my month was my first venture into adult high fantasy. Sorry, my scrunchie is just, I'm playing with my scrunchie, I'm sorry. I finally took the plunge and read my first high fantasy book. And it was, actually, my first 3 high fantasy books. I read the whole Mistborn trilogy this month. The first 2 books actually within 1 week, which is insane to me. So I read The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. Oh my god. I uploaded a video because the whole premise of me reading this was I did a book swap with my boyfriend, and I gave him ACOTAR and he gave me The Final Empire. And it was a fun time, and I really fell in love straight away. I, like I said when I was talking about Midnight Sun, they were around the same length. In fact, I don't know, but they were around the same length. I can't remember which one is slightly longer, but they were around the same length. And like I said, that typically would take me 3 or 4 days. The Final Empire, I read in pretty much a day and a half. I ploughed through that book so fast. I could not put it down. I was obsessed with it. Something about it just clicked with me. I was not expecting it. I just straight away was hooked, and I just think the world building was insane. The characters were insane. The story was insane. It was just so good, and a lot more accessible than I thought it would be, because high fantasy scares me. It scares a lot of people. It's no secret. But honestly, if you're looking to start, this would be an excellent place to start, because I just couldn't put it down. It was so good. And then I started the second book a couple of days later. Again, read it in pretty much a day and a half. I preferred the first book to the second book, I will say. The second book was a little bit slower, but it was very much setting up then for the third book. And the third book, so good, so good. Look, I'm just gonna say, the first book had me sobbing. The second book, I shed like a couple of tears. The third book ruined me. I've never felt such emotion towards a series before. I just think it's so good. It's incredible. I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, I could sit here and gush about it for like an entire video on its own. Just, you need to read it. The characters are so good. They're some of my favourite characters I've ever read. The story, I'm kind of missing it. As daft as that sounds, like I'm just kind of missing the world and like the magic. I don't know, but I'm going to be starting the Stormlight Archive in a couple of weeks probably, because apparently I'm a Sanderson stan now, so that's exciting. It opened up a whole new world of books for me, and I'm excited. Then I read another romance, which was Sweet Filthy Boy by Christina Lauren. This my friend Taylor recommended to me before, and it was really good. I gave her a 4.5. Just like one of the easiest romances to read. It was just so much fun. We have main character, she is in Vegas with her friends, and she meets this hot French guy and his friends, and she wakes up, they're in Vegas, as I said, she wakes up in a hotel room with this guy, and she looks down and she has a ring on her finger, and she's married. Like, oh no, she's in Vegas, she's married, she doesn't remember anything from the night before, and they end up falling in love. And she goes to, so she's married now, and he's leaving, he's going back to Paris, and he's like, you know what, just come with me and we'll figure this out. And she's like, oh, whatever. But she goes, and it's just, I don't know, it probably sounds kind of dumb explained the way I've explained it, but I promise it was so good. It made me happy. It was just a lot of fun, and I'm excited to read the rest of the series. On a less exciting note, I also read Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I'll just let that sit for a second. Yeah, I didn't like it. As I say in every single wrap up, if you don't know, me and my friends do a monthly live show where every month we talk about a different Cassandra Clare Shadowhunter book. We're working through the recommended reading order, and last month was Clockwork Angel, aka the first in the Infernal Devices series, aka my shining beacon of hope in the distance as I was reading The Mortal Instruments and not enjoying myself. I was like, it's fine. I've heard incredible things about the Infernal Devices and I'm just excited. And I was like, this is going to be the one for me. I am manifesting a 4-star. yeah, no, it didn't happen. I'll link the live show and you can hear all my thoughts and the arguments that ensued there. I also wrote a pretty lengthy Goodreads review. It's pretty much just me ranting. It was just a keyboard stream of consciousness from my brain. I don't know, just Cassandra Clare just doesn't do it for me, just in general. And this one was just the City of Bones retold. I'm sorry, Mika. I'm sorry, Sammy. It was exactly the same as City of Bones, down to the plot. Like, I couldn't believe how much of this book was word for word City of Bones, and I hated City of Bones. I sound so dramatic, but these books rile me up so much because you can't retell your own story like 4 years after you've already told it once. I don't understand. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'll stop. I give her 2.5. If you want to know all my thoughts, you can watch the live stream or read my Goodreads review. It wasn't good, okay? Like, I'm sorry, Cassandra Clare just doesn't write good books. Yeah, but anyway, the next one is actually going to be hosted by me on the 20th of September at 5 p.m. UK time. And it's going to be City of Fallen Angels because I'm captain of the Clary Fairchild hate club. So, of course, I get the return of the Mortal Instruments characters because, of course, I do. Yeah, it's going to be fun though, so come along. Share in the misery. Then I was just like, okay, I need some kind of Kindle Limited romance. Keep me going. I've got a free trial of Kindle Limited, so I'm just really plowing through the romance right now. And I read Cruel King by Rena Kent, I believe. I could be wrong. I think it's Rena Kent. Yeah, this was fine. Again, just like standard new adult bully romance. I can't honestly. I've forgotten most of the plot of this book already. Like, it was very forgettable and very standard, but it was fine. There were a couple of bits where I was like, but like that's part of the course really. Most of the books I read, yeah, I don't know, it was fine. I gave her a 3. I think it was more like a 2.5 to a 3. 3 on a good day, 2.5 on a normal day. Clearly, it was a good day. Yeah, it was fine. Just again, quick, easy. Yeah. Finally, in this month, I read A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which I got as an arc on NetGalley. I've seen this around for months now. People have been really excited for it, and I've never read a Naomi Novik book before. And this sounded really interesting. It's set in a magical school called the Scholomance, and essentially we follow our main character, Elle Galadriel, and she's just like, she's not cursed, but like kind of. She's just kind of the chosen one, but the evil chosen one. But she doesn't want to be evil. Like, she has no interest in it. Just people just keep telling her all the time all these prophecies about how she's going to bring about all this destruction and whatever. And she keeps getting all the assignments and spells that are like nuclear bombs or something equally as terrible. And she's like, please just, like, at the start of the book, she's looking for a cleaning spell. But all the cleaning spells, like, well, this will clean your room because it'll just blow the place to pieces. And she's just, yeah, it's just a really fun take on the, like, chosen one trope, I guess. And yeah, so in the Scholomance, there's all these monsters called Maleficaria, or Mals, and they all essentially try to eat the students and steal their power. That's the principle of the matter. And the Scholomance is kind of like a screw, and every year it screws down like this, and when you get to the bottom, that's when you do your graduation, which is a room filled with all these Maleficaria, and you have to essentially try and get out if you can. Most people don't. Yeah, it's just really fun. The other character is Orion Lake, who is also in Elle's year at school, and he always kills these mals and saves all these students, but like he doesn't even really mean to. I don't know. He's a very lovable character, and it's kind of a fake dating situation, the grumpy sunshine kind of thing going on, and it's just really fun. It just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it a lot. Um, and also, I guess bonus points for the main character being incredibly Welsh. And she keeps talking about Welsh things, and she even said the word cwtch one time, and I was just, that just bonus points for me, because if you hadn't noticed, Welsh. Yeah, I don't know, just fun. I gave her 5 stars. Again, wrote up a big review on Goodreads. Would recommend when it comes out. I think it comes out at the end of this month, and I would recommend giving it a go. Yeah, so that's all the books that I read in August. Yeah, overall a really good month. Just a couple of misses. Uh, Stephanie Meyer and Cassandra Clare, I'm looking at you in particular. Yeah, I don't know, it was a good month. I'm happy with it, and hopefully September is also a good month. So I'll let you know how that goes. I will